I want a sandwich. Now. Oh, sandwich wench. Yo, wench. Sandwich. Now. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. I'm going to need a sandwich. A sandwich. A sandwich. Oh, sandwich wench. I want a sandwich. Sandwich.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another This on the channel. That's it, yeah, I got that right. Hi. Hope you're all well. Sorry for our lateness if you're on YouTube. If you're on Spotify, I know I'll upload this a day or two late, then you'll get the same feeling, sure. Joining me to talk about some stuff, no idea what actually, is Trups. Say hello, Trups.
Hello, Trups.
Wow, that was quite loud in my ear. That sounded like a can.
Yes.
Is it a good can at
It
least?
was. I mean, it's a Diet Coke.
So no.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Okay.
Diet Dr. Pepper.
You know they do. I saw in the shop recently. They have a slightly different design on the bottle, but like a almost 0-calorie version.
Mm-hmm.
My sisters love Dr. I used to love Dr. Pepper at uni, especially. But I found it was too. There was too much air in it. If that makes sense, it was too frothy.
Ah, okay. I thought that of Pepsi. I was a bit of a spoiled child. I was
Never
one of
got
those
that as a
kids at like 5 who could tell the difference between Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Diet Coke. I could tell all those differences.
This
I remember.
This is going to be an interesting thing then, because I, having given up fizzy drinks, let's see how many years ago now? I don't know, nearly 6. I still don't know the difference. Because I gave up, I didn't really drink them. I favoured Dr. Pepper. So, and because I can't burp. Dr. Pepper Zero, right, so that's what it's called. Yeah,
Dr. Zero is good.
I'll take your word for it. My sisters don't like it that much because they think it's too hollow.
So that's kind of what I meant when I said like Pepsi and Coke have a definitively different taste.
Yeah.
Pepsi, for whatever reason, seems to have more carbonation. It's a very similar drink, but it's not the same.
It might be they make up for it because of their they got the mango, the lime, the cherry, the raspberry flavor maxes now. They're quite popular over here.
True. But it's interesting because I believe now the chat can hold me to this. Dr. Pepper is technically, I believe, a spiced cherry drink because that's what Pib is.
I'll take your word for it because I, to this day, never knew what it was. I just liked it because I didn't get this stuff as a kid. We couldn't afford it, so we just had water, tap water. It was something. It was lovely. We loved
But
it.
anyway, how's your week been? Sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent.
No,
about drinks.
no, because I was curious. It's been all right. With my friend going home on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. I was able to get back on track with some videos. I'm still trying to calibrate this microphone so that I can use it for some long-form crime videos I want to do on Lucy Letby and Danny Masterson now. I've had these sources for years on these people.
Oh,
And
Danny Masterson.
I know. I desperately want to make these videos, but this microphone is still not there. I still can't get it there. Where I've got a pre-recorded intro thing I put in videos, and then I put it next to what I get from this, and there's still something wrong. Like something hollow, something echoey, and yet this microphone is vastly better. It's superior.
There might be a noise filter. You might want to gate your highs and lows.
So that's what I've never had to do with the other Yeti, which I got back on Wednesday. It was fully repaired.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to use. This signal cleanup is the thing. You've got noise reduction, gate compressor, limiter, depopper, DS. I don't know how to use any of these, but I've been fiddling with them.
Oh.
And
well, I can put my minor in audio engineering to work.
Yay. Whereas with the Yeti standard that I've had for years, three and a half years, I just plugged it in and got on with the job, and the audio is amazing. But now I'm having to actually sit here and find time to make it work.
Yeah, I know the pain.
And so I've got the Yeti software. Yeti X is what I now have. It's what I'm using tonight, in fact, with a profile broadcaster. Noise reduction's up, compressor is up, gate sits around minus 37 decibels, yeah?
Decibels, yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be all right. It's what I used for recording today, actually, because there are two profiles I don't mind so much. That low voice loud is the other one, because that seems to suit my the I would say deep part of voice. I don't know if I necessarily have a deep voice. It just sounds.
Oh, you can have a deep voice. You just have to put it on.
Oh my.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So beyond that, it's been all right cleaning up cabin stuff, and last weekend I hung the panels on my roof, which was great news. Built some things, and now I'm sort of I've got stuff to do this weekend. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to get the video stuff done, and then I can have Sunday off and I'll build some Warhammer and play. I noticed on the Nintendo store they actually had a sale that was actually a sale. The entire
real sale.
Yeah, BioShock trilogy, instead of being £25, $7.99. I'm like, bosh, having that. Little Nightmares set 1 and 2, and I was like, yes, having that as well.
I don't remember if I told you on one of the shows, but I remember playing BioShock 2, where you play as the Big Daddy.
Yeah, you do. I like the there's a guy. He did a couple rap songs. One called Rapture Rising and one called Daddy's Home, and they're JT something. JT Music, and they're brilliant. Carry on.
Yeah, but I just remember like the moment where you could either extract the atom or let the little sister go.
Yeah.
I saw a number big, right? Extract the atom plus 150. So I did that, and I heard the sounds as it cut to black, and I was like, I'm turning off this game now. Bye.
So I could have sworn there was somebody have made a version of that where you actually watch the extraction happen. And
dear God.
And with the sounds, it's like, That's
that's violent.
Yes, that's YouTube friendly. I never played BioShock, which is why I got it. I never played it. And I've got it on Steam, I think, as well. Never played it, but I really have been making time to just sit and play on a handheld, because I can't be arsed with... I get messages from people, friend requests on Steam a lot. I can't be arsed. I don't want to constantly be Meg. I just want to play games, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's why I have a very hard time streaming games. It's because not that I don't love you, chat, and everybody who jumps to join me, but sometimes I just want to do me.
I love you more when you give me your money. And by the way, Trups and I have played games together in the past. We played on the PlayStation. We played some COD, I believe, once.
Yep, played COD. We played 7 Days a lot longer.
Oh, we did long ago. That was the good old days. Back before I was a full-time YouTuber, I think.
I believe so.
Yeah, that was a mistake, wasn't it? I should have just gotten a proper job.
No, because then you'd have a lot. You wouldn't be nearly as consistent.
True. Well, I say that, yes. After the heel versus babyface raging, I made a video on that. People didn't like my point. Like, I knew nothing of the creator, and I didn't have time to watch a 10-hour stream to get that he was putting on a character. Obviously, it was an over-exaggeration. It's YouTube. But the point stands. At this point, I couldn't care less about Bethesda putting pronouns into a video game.
Oh my God, I could not care less. Oh, they said the same thing about Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
And how the Illithids were, the Mind Flayers were all referred to as it. And I'm yes, they have no gender.
Yeah. I knew this because I get I get sent a lot of affiliate stuff and Mind Flare stuff a lot.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Right, I've been sent this. I've been sent so much over the years, and I've got a few things actually. And I just no, I don't care. And obviously, I know I was here during Gamergate. Of course, these pushing woke ideas into video games. It's quite a hot topic. But in reality, while it was a overreacted for views perspective from that of the person on here was I don't care. I'm 37. I know I don't play Bethesda games. I really don't.
That's because the last good Bethesda game came out in 2011.
Was that New Vegas?
It was Skyrim, but I think New Vegas came out around the same time.
Okay, because I honestly, I've got Fallout 4. It was sent to me as a gift. I installed it and then uninstalled it and never played it. I legit don't. I just didn't have time for it. And all the mods. It's like, oh, but you can have all these mods and play it. I'm like, but bitch, I've never even played the game. I don't care. I don't. And I don't see a reason to make this. Someone made the argument that it was about immersion in video games. I'm like, but actually, they're appealing to a different market by including that level of immersion. I don't need to care about it because it doesn't really feature much in Starfield in the first place. So effectively, they just virtue signaled with a tiny little thing that doesn't actually matter.
Yeah,
but
most people would probably just most people would probably gloss over it.
Yeah, I think
because Starfield, right? You don't I presume it's in the time of Interstellar. I haven't played anything on it.
I don't know anything. I know nothing.
I presume there are aliens.
I would assume you have ships and you fly about and go to planets that mostly have nothing on, which is what I've heard.
Okay.
I don't actually give a crap because, again, while the game idea sounds like fun, I'm not going to play that game. And I don't see how it's such a big deal. Oh, but it's just it opens up the pathway to this becoming a thing. Bitch, no it doesn't. Alright, shut up.
Not really.
This shit's been going on for years. Ubisoft have been doing it for years with their multicultural teams, right, which are now mostly women. Shut the fuck up, alright? Not you. And and Bethesda have been doing this for years as well. And you morons are going to keep buying their crap until you either decide to do a Bud Light and actually teach them a lesson, or you give up and just accept it.
Yeah, honestly, if it's the pronoun thing, I can live with the pronoun thing. It's when you take any steps forward, if there's any other pieces to it that change, sure. I don't give a fuck, because especially when you enter into space or fantasy where there are things like Warforged, which don't necessarily have to have a male or female gender identity. If it wants to be called it can be, and I don't care.
See, I don't know how
they make sense for connected entities that are part of the Elder Brain. That makes sense.
So I am obviously a little curious whether or not the point of having pronouns in your character creation impacts any of the dialogue in the game. I would assume if there is any dialogue, the answer is yes. The main complaint I saw that I took interest in, beyond someone overreacting for clicks, which was hilarious, the only legit complaint I saw was the fact that it might be a little bit of a slog to get to what is considered the good stuff. But I like games like that because I like building up towards that. I think
the grind is half the fun.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a lot of these same people complain about this. Complain in the exact same way about Elden Ring, where there was too much grinding, too much
shut
fighting.
up. Elden Ring was easy by comparison. The grind of Elden Ring is the game, right?
That's Elden Ring.
It would be different. Yeah. It would be different if it were something like let's just presume that there's a fishing mechanic in your fishing simulator.
Yeah.
And you needed to fish 1,000 fish to upgrade your boat. That's bullshit. that's grinding that nobody has time for. So, Diablo Immortal, that's grinding that nobody has time for.
Just gonna add for the sake of clarity, in the first and second game, you did have to earn licenses to get bigger boats. And that did require catching a certain amount of fish in weight.
Okay.
And driving a certain amount of miles, or nautical miles. But it was never specific to your quota of individual fish. It was any fish. But you had to earn those licenses. Reputation with ports is also it wasn't. It's not like that in the newer version, and I haven't played in a little while, so I can't be. I just remember the first game; it did have certain licensing things, but it wasn't actually a problem because I used those games as a background noise, just so I could talk to people. I wasn't really doing anything.
Sorry, we're not in politics right now. We should.
No. But I'm gonna ask the chat question before we actually talk about anything else. Because you've mentioned here Bethesda games, you mentioned Sunseal, plot holes, strange logical leaps. That sounds like a Bethesda game to me. And yet many idiots continue to buy that crap. Does the pronoun part need to be such a large focal point that many are very much vehemently against it existing in video games? I would say many internet people. Because I don't think the casual gamer gives so much as a rat's ass, and the casual gamer is the majority.
True.
Because they're not watching the streamers. They're buying the game because they want to buy the game. They're not the ones watching YouTubers. They're not... No, they don't give a crap about you guys. They don't give a crap about me, and I'm not going to play it. Why would I want... It's far too demanding on my computer, please. It's too hot at the moment. Anyway, you know what, actually, while they answer that, there'll be a little delay. What's Traps been up to this week?
Not a whole lot. I've been, raging on Twitter as normal, but I took a little bit of a break of my normal rage.
Oh, right. What was the rage this week?
Well, actually, it was mostly just today. My rage was because I was listening to Tim Pool's show this morning, and he had on Brianna Wu talking about Gamergate and all that shit. And oh my god, it hurt my brain. I was listening to people just speak out their ass, and I was so upset because everything about it just hurt.
I had somebody in my Twitch chat yesterday mention Tim from something that happened earlier in the week, and I can't remember what it was. He'd spoken about something. It might have been one of the girls that I have. I think it was Amber or Foodie Beauty. Tim's cast had spoken about one of the.
I know that he mentioned Eugenia Cooney, and I know he mentioned Nikocado.
Oh, that's it, Nikocado. Thank you. Yes, I for me that's such a. It's such a it's very interesting because their names don't get featured that heavily within the sphere that Tim features in. Yeah,
true.
Which are typically called grifters. I'm not saying Tim is a grifter, by the way. That's just what a lot of the counter politics types just call them, even though they themselves are also, unironically, by the definition of what they call Tim to be a grifter, they themselves are a grifter.
Right, absolutely.
Contradictory. And I don't think Tim's a grifter, by the way. I just think he's amusing.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, he has a platform that inspires a lot of conversation.
Yeah,
it's why I follow the Krasensteins on Twitter.
I don't follow Tim Pool. I don't watch his content. I'm not, because I don't want to. I don't want to regurgitate his opinions. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I want them to come from me. And also, you mentioned Eugenia and Nikocado. It's a very I will say, just before we talk about anything else, how strange is it that people genuinely can't talk about? Because how do you talk about what's going on with Eugenia? It's such a strange. I don't know what to say, because obviously help is required, but no one will listen, no one will implement, and for some odd reason also incredibly well protected. I can't fathom that, and yet both that and the flip side to that being that of super morbid obesity are, to an extent, glorified, except for one key thing. Many of those within the super morbid obesity area, except for Hungry Fat Chick, who is on a weight loss journey and actually succeeding, I think, so far she has been anyway, they get so much crap in their comments, the ones that are, because they're, but that same flack does not go the direction of the other one, because apparently there is a level of, but we must protect, even though they won't even look after themselves. Which sounds callous, but that's not what I mean. Don't be the person that picks at that. I'm going to be a dickhead too if you try. I don't get it. And obviously we can't talk about it too long because we get demonetized.
Well, it's interesting that at all they even mention pieces of that because so people engage with the content, right?
Yeah.
And there are people in the sphere of just online, right? Anybody who exists in the online sphere knows very well that the idea of negative press or negative engagement is still engagement, and therefore it's good.
Can I just stop you? I'm looking at my synchronized audio on Audacity, and it has it's recording absolutely nothing, and yet my microphone is on.
Oh, is it selected the correct one?
I don't. It's the Yeti X. Why is it not recording? Let me try again.
I have no idea.
Better now? No, it's not recording. I'm going to have to close Audacity and start again and come in at another time. My apologies here. 22 minutes.
That's all right.
Oh, I'll have to find a way. I don't think I'll be able to splice it all together. Let's see if that's... that's recording. You absolute ball bag. We can't be that spot.
2104. I'm going to write it down for you.
You...
was when you clicked back in.
You know what it was? I must have opened Audacity before I plugged my headphones in. It then decided the headphones cancelled it. Even though the microphone is working. You know what? Carry on with your thing. Yeah.
But yeah, so negative engagement is still good engagement, so they'll just farm the same views that other people will offer them. So even if it is hate watching and, mean comments and all that stuff, obviously people will still they'll still be willing to have that conversation with people specifically because it brings them views, right?
Yes, sorry. People in the chat mentioning another person actually, and I am quite intrigued by what's happened. In the form of somebody who went for a 13-year-old cupcake and then got busted again trying to meet up with a 15-year-old cupcake. Oh,
yes, I did see that too. And I also love... I did watch your video today, so I do know all about the comments
so I love that what's happened since is that people are getting strikes for covering it. Now, I haven't got one because I'm not getting any... I don't get any views comparatively. Yeah, I don't get views compared to these others that are getting strikes. But what is wrong with YouTube that you're protecting? I had this when I did a Halls of Injustice on a guy called Robert Nutbeam. Robert Nutbeam got stung by one of those nonce hunting groups. Yeah, and I played the video in my Halls of Injustice because he went to prison for it. And then when I think just after he got released, the video got pulled by YouTube, and I put it on Rumble. It was one of the first things I uploaded over there. I was like, feck you. Because I'm not having the... I'm going to put that nonce everywhere. I put it on... I made sure I re-uploaded the BitChute. I promoted it everywhere I could. I tried to do it in a community post, and I think YouTube flagged the link. Like, you are protecting nonces on this site. That is not acceptable. I mean, they've protected Onision for years.
True.
Alleged. Just,
is it?
No, it's definitely not. I just have to say it for the sake of not getting myself into trouble. But it's a strange situation that is... And yes, they did ban him for being that in the first place. And then they banned all his other channels, as Sunseal mentioned. But yeah, they're protecting him. I get it, because there is a context where I understand why they think they're in the right. And they're wrong. The context is Gideon. Because Gideon is haram! In the context that Gideon has been a dick to the likes of Pokimane, who is the sweetest virgin princess on all of the internet ever.
I hate that you said that.
She is totally not a skank. Or a slut, with one expression. No. But because Gideon has trolled a number of people, he's done it at NBA events where he's taken a massive blanket in the front row and just fallen asleep courtside. Yeah.
Nice.
He got yeeted out of these events and has been banned, which gave him more promotion. The Twitch ban for going in on Pokimane, trolling Pokimane, and it's like, fam, it's because of that. That's why I think they think they're in the right, but they're actually not in the right. Because then they went for Turkey Tom's video, and it's like, bitch, Tom just presented it as it was. That's what I did pretty much, other than to call him a nonce. It's what you're meant to do. It's commentary. It's news commentary, and yeah.
But you see what I mean, though? It's the same idea. Gideon uses the same like scenario that I was just talking about with negative commentary being good publicity.
Yeah, and yes, EDP or someone called Ed is alleged because the individual called Ed has been caught talking to people who were 15 at least, and I put that in my video as well, oddly enough, which included screenshots. I don't like that YouTube defends that, and I think it's a very dangerous area to side, because it makes YouTube look well, it doesn't make them look great, I'll give you that.
Well, I was gonna say, you know just as well as I do that the conversation around the old guard of Twitter, of YouTube, of TikTok, they all encourage, but, you know, quietly, we'll call it exploitative material. Right?
Yeah.
And we know that they tolerated it for a good long time, because there were individuals who even brought up all of the different pieces and said, hey, look, you know, this is what you're doing. You know, why can't you fix it? And they go, oh, you know, it's difficult to, you know, track down or find all these things. No, it's not. It's not hard.
No, I agree. Do you think YouTube might see sense on a couple of these and perhaps act? In the case of Eugenia, I don't know what they can do. I know that some might say, well, demonetize them at least, or perhaps strike them for promoting very unhealthy versions of what can be considered life, but it is quite limp, skeletal.
No, I don't think that they should or will. And the reason why I don't think they should is because I think that the situation regarding Eugenia, like, it is not up to Facebook or Twitter or YouTube to censor her content. It is up to culture and the individuals who make up the overall audience to look at that and go, look, that's not healthy.
Yeah.
We can't encourage her to do this.
So I often agree, I actually always agree with that. My concern, obviously, we care about life. I don't know lives matter, but if you want to care about life for a moment, indulge me if you will. The biggest concern many have, and you can't act on it, is the fact that many know that there are others around that individual who are not helping at all, or are enabling it. Then, obviously, on the flip side, you have a different issue in the form of the one who did get banned multiple times, called EdP. That's it, EdP, yeah. Who obviously has been busted multiple times now, talking to children. And and they have they did act to remove, and now if you have a reference, you also get into trouble for doing it. It's like, obviously, you can't conflate the two, which is why they're two totally separate instances of YouTube handling situations. In one, I agree, because you can't really... There's nothing YouTube can do unless there's a breach of terms of service. In the other, they're deciding what can and cannot be spoken about on their site, while simultaneously championing the concept of free speech, which they don't champion in the slightest.
True.
And this is proof of that. As if coronavirus wasn't enough proof of it.
Accurate.
Or the election.
Well, right. Well, you know, it's funny. Talking about the election, man, if I haven't heard over and over again about, you know, how stolen or the attempt to steal the 2020 election has been going. I have MSNBC pulled up right now, and I just want to quickly read off some headlines to you. Ready?
Okay, so they're not going to be about Obama's gay lover, no?
No.
Oh,
well,
what a shame.
no. Ready? Okay, so the main one is 3 pages that stand out from the Georgia Special Grand Jury report.
Okay.
Pelosi announces she will run for re-election in 2024. Presidential censors ring the alarm on the state of our democracy. Watch Ron DeSantis throw a tantrum when confronted with wokeness personified. 5 key takeaways from the Fulton County Special Jury Report. Full text of Trump Fulton County Special Grand Jury Report. Lindsey Graham responds after report reveals Georgia Grand Jury recommended he be indicted. Fani Willis to Jim Jordan, you lack a basic understanding of the law. And more of that. Basically, the whole front page is Trump.
It's funny how they, how many of them would like nothing more than for
We got an ad.
We've got. Apparently we did.
All right.
It's hilarious to me how desperate they are to try and forget he exists, and yet at the same time they need him for the attention. Desperately, they need him there. They would never want him to win, but they do need him to win because they do better when he actually, is there.
Right.
And it's a great demonstration of just how desperately they need him for attention.
Oh, absolutely. The thing is right. So, CNN did a poll recently, and the talking heads came out in droves to explain away. But there was a CNN poll that basically said that Donald Trump and Joe Biden were neck and neck.
Really?
Now, I want to remind you that this was a CNN poll.
That's not good.
Which means that of their typical 80% Democrat, group that they normally survey, that means like half of them are thinking that Trump is the guy they want to vote for.
Are you sure it's that and not them thinking, oh, we'll just do this anyway for a laugh because he'd be so stuffed with all the legal stuff he'll never be able to actually be president?
Maybe, but even in 2016 they didn't have that.
No? Oh, okay.
No. 2016 had him in a garbage location in the polls.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Well, that
then
obviously polls don't mean too much right now, but that is very interesting that CNN would publish that. I assume Biden's still winning though.
Yeah, by 0.1.
Oh, is that it? Oh, bloody hell, nice.
Yeah.
To be honest, he's had a right shite week, hasn't he? Goes and presents a Medal of Honor, and then walks away.
Oh my God! So they tried to explain away that.
With what? He had a mindless seizure like Mitch McConnell?
No. They tried to explain it away by saying he doesn't technically have to.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. That is the most disrespectful thing you could have done. You just presented someone with one of the highest accolades in your country. Military, I believe, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah? And you decided to do that. Piss off with that. Okay, the Medal of Honor, not many people have that.
True. Very true.
I'm sure Biden would love to get one in his hands, but you're Delaware, so who cares?
Well, what do you mean? I'm sure that if Obama could, he would come back and give it to him.
I'm sure he'd do it if he could do it as a favor for suppressing any stories talking about his gay lover.
Also fair.
Allegedly.
Yes, allegedly.
Okay, so the polls for CNN say that.
Yes.
How was this? I've got a weird itch in my throat now. You talk while I go and cough.
Okay, so the polls say that, and then you have your typical Harry, Sassoon, and you had your Dash, Dobrik, and all those folks who all desperately had to come out and say something regarding it. And at this point, they are. Why does it sound like I'm in a tunnel?
Are you?
No, it's just there was some Discord reverb on your stuff.
Oh, right, sorry. I just turned the mic back on. It does that.
Oh, okay. You're good. I'm pulling up the Harry Sassoon comments regarding that CNN poll.
Okay.
Doo-doo-doo-doo. Where is it? Brother, did you dirty delete?
Don't be surprised if they did, but if you get the link, go to archive, someone might have got it.
True.
Might you have to check your internet history for that, I'm afraid.
Yeah, true.
F.
Yeah, I think he dirty deleted.
Biden disrespecting the Medal of Honor isn't surprising. To be honest, it's the kind of gaffe I would sort of associate with like George Bush, but only because of accidental. Like he just had many faux pas over the years, but they were always accidental. Whereas with Biden,
True.
it's entirely because half his brain has essentially left the building. Without lobotomy, though.
Yeah.
Hi, fam.
Oh, I guess we could talk about the fact that Enrique Tarrio, the leader of the Proud Boys, did get sentenced to 22 years in prison.
22 years in prison.
For his role in the January 6th insurrection.
And what was his role in that?
He didn't have one. He wasn't there.
Wait, he got 22 years for not being there?
Yep.
Maybe he should have gone.
He was not there. He got 22 years for his role in incitement, his comments that he made surrounding the thing, and the conversations that he had before and after, and things like that. Yep. He got 22 years for not actually participating.
So I haven't seen how he incited, so I cannot comment on whether or not this is just. I'm going to just say that as a disclaimer, because on the face of it, it looks unjust.
Oh, it's completely bullshit.
I assume he's not in prison right now, though.
I don't know. Theoretically, I think he is already... Because that sentencing already happened, so after sentencing, usually you just go to prison.
Some people have to report by a certain time, I've noticed.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. But that was actually less than the 33 years prosecutors were originally seeking.
What did he do to incite? I'm assuming tweets here.
So basically, it's his communications and his association with the Proud Boys. So the Proud Boys, in the opinions of the individuals in the establishment, is that the Proud Boys are an extremist organization that are directly responsible for all of the insurrection things, and they were responsible for breaking down the barriers, and they came armed and all this stuff. They were, responsible for this, that, and the other. So, that being the context, basically him having been the leader of it, and I guess telling his buddies and the people that if you want to go to the protest, go to the protest. Yeah, go ahead. And yes, actually, Sunseal Silverfall in the chat is accurate. Tarrio was arrested before the 6th. It's true. Actually, he was present, I believe, the day before, or 2 days before, and he was actually arrested while he was open carrying, and then he was released subsequently.
Really?
Yeah. He was arrested, I think, just for, the open carry thing. And like, suspicion, right? Another bullshit charge, and then he was released, because I don't think any of those charges actually stuck. I think they just incarcerated him and then told him to leave, in which he did. Because I vaguely remember this story when January 6th was coming around. So yes, he was not there, and so he was incarcerated before the 6th. He was not able to be present, even if he wanted to.
So, if you're going to start sending people to prison for communications of incitement, if you are already, but if that's what you're working with, I mean, I can think of a lot of people right now who should probably get themselves arrested.
That's probably true.
I don't see how that is a punishment worthy of a near life sentence, like akin to that of like attempted murder or something. That's not.
That's the funny thing. Actually, murderers get a lesser sentence. Murderers typically get like I don't know, 9 to 15 years.
In my country, it's a minimum of 25. But but that makes sense. You guys do like to kill. But I just
rude.
no, not wrong though. I just think it's a bit of a. I don't, without seeing the context, I can't imagine what he had. Are they going with the similar thing with like Trump, where he said fight maybe once or twice? Like, well, that's
Probably
enough for me.
Yes, I believe that is close. I think to what actually happened.
Well, that's worrying, isn't it?
Oh yes, absolutely. You can't have anybody who wishes to fight. That's wrong.
No, unless you're blue.
Yes, that's quite a. Actually, no. If you're blue, you can call all cops pigs and then set fire to their buildings.
You can set fire to any building you want.
But don't you dare criticize the FBI. Because they're important.
They're goodest boys.
Yeah, well, apparently they're not the kind of cop that they want abolished sometimes. In the last year, the conversation around the abolish the police and the back the blue movement has kind of done a big flip.
Has it?
Well, because the Back the Blue movement was a conservative-led thing that talked about local cops and supporting local cops because they're the ones who keep us safe.
Mm-hmm.
Democrats have extrapolated that and said, oh, all law enforcement.
Okay.
No. Not all law enforcement. But okay. We have individuals like people in the FBI who conservatives have never liked, whom have made those kinds of back the blue sentiments impossible to follow up on because we don't actually like that. That's bad.
Yeah.
Because they usually will just go after you because FBI, ATF is never been a thing that people appreciated in the conservative movement. But they've extrapolated this and tried to say that Back the Blue is also referencing these individuals, right? The FBI, the ATF, the FDA, all those law enforcement agencies.
Right.
Well, it's kind of done a big flip as of late, because now what we have is a group of conservatives who say, nah, fuck that. If the cops want to enforce mask mandates, then we're not on board with them either. And then the other argument was, of course, the FBI is witch hunting Trump, so we don't like them either. So that whole Back the Blue thing has now kind of gone on its head, which I think is honestly fine. I don't think anybody's going to lose sleep over it. But they seem to think it's a gotcha when you have conversations about it.
Why do you think that's the case?
Probably because they don't know what conservatives actually want. So their arguments usually will... they have to kind of... they have to presume the way that different people on the right think.
I've noticed...
Because they don't ever actually listen or care to find out what it is that a conservative actually believes in.
So this is something I can understand in the sense that in a lot of videos I make on YouTube and responses to, it always comes down to somebody holding a belief but refusing to understand a differing perspective. Mm-hmm. Acknowledging it exists, but just saying, no, I'm right, I'm always right, fuck off. You're never yeah, no, you can't be right in this. It's that
Mhm.
blindness to engage or understand it, instead just dismissing because wrong.
Yeah. I don't know if it's willful delusion or it's there's a concept where you are so deluded that the idea of I think it's what's the allegory of the cave where everyone inside the cave is looking at the shadows and they believe the shadows to be real, but they don't
Yeah.
realize that the shadows themselves. But they're too afraid to turn around and find out, something like that.
Yeah.
I think it kind of falls along that line where just people are too concerned with what is supposed to be or what has been told to them that if you were to try and break that that idea in their mind, they may lose their shit collectively.
Yeah, sounds about right. A lot of people do on multiple sides of the political spectrum on this, depending on who's in charge, I guess. But it's often because of the prominence of certain voices in mainstream media and culture. The one side is always treated as if it must always be wrong at all times. But as you've seen from that CNN poll you mentioned, that's clearly not the case.
Yes, true. And not only that, but I think genuinely that we are going to start seeing individuals. Well, they're already starting to break out of the matrix, so to speak. But I think we're going to see that a lot more. There have been several polls where Gen Z has been found to be trending more conservative. So different individuals in that sense are also going to be kind of availing themselves to a more right-wing idea, as well as kind of the expectation that we're going to start seeing just more people probably speaking out. Right now, Kamala Harris is about to go on a tour of a bunch of different campuses around the country and try to rally Gen Z to vote blue. And I think she may be in over her head, perhaps.
I just I don't think she's. The annoying thing is you have you want the president to be the more vocal character, yes, and then you want the VP to be somebody that has to be held back a bit, or be more professional. In this, and no offense to you Americans, you have a functioning moron who can't function beyond moving and bobbing about with his hands together. Okay, and then you have a VP who puts a foot in her mouth and is universally loathed. I don't know how you win anything in that. I just don't get it. But you know, this is the crap situation you guys are in right now.
Yay!
I wish it was better for you. I really do.
Me too.
I don't know how you improve on a polished turd.
You don't.
Yeah.
Well. Actually, there is a way, and the way is that we have to actually vote out these people.
Well, you got time to make it happen, haven't you?
Not a whole lot. We are almost 2 months and a year from election day. Yikes! Yikes! Big yikes!
That's actually What do you think?
Yeah, no, we don't have a lot of time. If there's anybody who's going in, they've already basically signed the paperwork and they're already accounted for. At this point, we have to basically survey the board and watch how the dominoes fall. And we have to be able to. Well, we have to be able to rally enough to get the other people who are not politically inclined. So not myself, not you, not the people in chat. They're clearly sitting here listening to us, so they're at least somewhat interested in the idea of having a discussion about politics. There are so many people who do not care. Those people we need to somehow have a discussion with, and get them to care enough to read something, or listen to somebody who is telling them what is going on. Because right now they're being fed the same bullshit that, well, I can read off MSNBC or CNN. Like, that is what the normie hears. And so when you then tell the normie, hey, did you know that, Enrique Tarrio got 22 years, and they go, yeah, for his role in the insurrection, and you go, do you know he wasn't even there? They go, wait, what? And now you're starting to shake everything down, and things start to crumble.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that we kind of have to hope for in a bit, that we can actually shatter people's views on things, because right now it's not going. Stop making me want to write editorials again. Don't write editorials, Chaos.
I mean, you can if you like, but you should be busy making babies. So stop typing and start shagging.
Good.
I like that.
Yeah. You want to put that on a shirt?
I might have to.
Stop typing, start shagging. Sorry, that I'm a child. I am entertaining myself out of absolute immaturity. It's fine.
I'm okay with this.
But yeah. So I mean that's what we're looking at right now, and of course, they beat you over the head with it. I mean, just with the Harry Sassoon posts, or the Victor Shi, or the Dash Dabrowski, all these people, like these very clearly paid for shills who are claiming to be voices of Gen Z or voices of the new generation. Stop it. All of them, stop it. You are not anything new and exciting. That's not your shtick, right? But they're going to try their darndest to be something.
It's a bit. Yeah, I'm curious. Has there been any? This might seem a strange question actually. Any? Like the House is obviously every 2 years. So, are there any names that are coming up for re-elect, or that might lose?
I expect Dianne Feinstein to be done.
Yeah.
That might be a willful or a hopeful thing. But I would like to imagine that they might be done. That being said, Nancy Pelosi, as I mentioned earlier, is running again.
She's so old.
I know.
I just don't see why. And obviously I know why, but it's just such a... What's the point? Honestly...
They need somebody to fight against Trump again. We need to raise the armies, the same armies from back then.
And how deluded do you have to be that that's your justification for... You could be out fishing and enjoying your twilight years, but no... Yeah, you're just doing this instead.
What I want to know is, what did she do in that 4 years that she had to take a break before she came back and did it again? Like, that sounds sus. Very suspicious, in my opinion.
It is a bit sus, I'll give you that. I don't see the point.
No, there's... I mean, besides power, money.
It's that though, isn't it? It's just power, and I see no reason when you're that old. I promise, if I was ever in at my when I'm that age, I'm not going to be able to on mine, am I? I'm just gonna be sat somewhere, probably looking at the beach all day, because I'm not going to have much going on, am I? I wouldn't want to be that. I might work, but not like that. Fuck no. How old is she? She's late 70s, isn't she early 80s?
Yes. Yeah, she is in her late 70s.
So she's probably having rejuvenation treatments then.
That was what
Replace the
fucking
blood, you know, Back to the Future.
Kamala was doing that for a while. Kamala was having all these like cosmetic procedures. I think we talked about that last week, actually.
That does not surprise me. I just...
Because she wanted to look good for the presidency.
She looks like something.
Well, you know, she was asked on an interview, "Are you ready to be president?" Given that Joe Biden is like going to be in his 80s if he runs the second term.
Yeah.
And the interviewer literally says, "Are you ready to be president?"
That's cringe.
And she goes, "Yes, I'm ready if it happens that way."
I mean,
but
it's
I don't
possible,
think we need.
No.
But she's like, "I don't think that we're going to need that." She's playing the cards correctly. If you want to not piss off the establishment, Biden's. It's almost like the Clintons.
Mm-hmm. I don't. We spoke about this earlier in his presidency, that it did seem likely that he wouldn't make it until the election, and here we are being proven wrong to an extent. He's getting there. It's just as more time has gone by, he is becoming more and more, well, himself.
True. They are having issues holding him, holding the elderliness back.
Yeah.
Which I feel bad.
Yeah, it's just he's still sniffing people's heads. I don't know if I'm okay with this.
Oh, I'm definitely not okay with that, but
He needs to stop doing that.
yes, he definitely needs to stop doing that. Don't sniff people's heads. It's not healthy, and it's kind of creepy.
I know some people
Really creepy.
don't like how he interacts with like his own children and grandchildren. Just the thing, if parents interact with their children the way that he does, honestly, just be glad he's doing it to only his children.
No, because if that diary is anything to be given full credibility to, the way that he interacts with his children and his grandchildren is not something to try and model.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just let's just be happy it's only that. Allegedly.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. True. Okay, I get your point.
Since he brought them children into the world, they deserve to suffer this. I'm kidding. If anyone takes that seriously, shut up.
No, I got you.
When do we need to get the lettuce? I have no idea.
The lettuce?
I
don't know.
don't know.
Unsure. Stay tuned.
We are unsure. I hope that answers your question. Okay, well, we've reached the hour. Is there anything you want to talk about after this, or are we good?
No, I think we're all set.
All right then. Are you here next week?
No, I'm not.
Very well. I will be on Kick then instead, streaming more Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I'll be there tomorrow as well. Thank you everyone for joining us. We really appreciate it. We'll see you in a couple of weeks. Say good night, Trups.
Good night, Trups.
Good night, Trups.